back to my channel. So you guys, you can see I have my August visitor right here. Sometimes people be like, oh Mabel, can your husband just show his face once in a while? And you don't, like, he's just that type of person that prefers walking behind the camera. Meanwhile, I'm always in front of the camera with the kids. So guys, we are here today. I have my August visitor. Baby, you want to say hi?
Hi guys, how are you? My throat, sorry.
Okay, so you guys, I'm sure a lot of you will be like, wow, this one we have Oma's husband on camera today. So guys, I was actually going through my my channel sometime last week, and I came across this video that I did with hubby sometime last year. I was like heavily pregnant with Ace last year. So we did that video together, and it was so shocking how that video, like, you guys really felt the energy from the video. You guys had a lot of questions, and the video I'm talking about, I'm definitely going to leave a card up here, so maybe you can go back to that video and kind of refresh your memory before then coming back to this video. But yeah, from that video I had a lot of questions from you guys. After I had the baby, one thing led to the other. We haven't been able to film it, so I was like, oh my gosh, sweetie, like, maybe we can just revisit this video. And he was like, okay, maybe we can do it. So that's the reason we are seated here today. So we just have few questions, like few main questions that I felt like it's going to be very beneficial to to my audience. And like the topic of today's video, I decided to put a kind of I would say this is like the main thing some women, not all women, some women look for in a husband or in a spouse or in a relationship these days. They want that perfect, who is the latest Nollywood actor? Brad Pitt? No, is it Brad Pitt? Angelina Jolie's husband. What's his name?
Brad Pitt is not a Nollywood actor.
No, Nollywood. I said it's Hollywood. I wanted to say not Nollywood. Sorry, Hollywood or Beckham. All these them tall, handsome, rich guys. So that's why I was like, what? I'm just going to title it this way, whereby women always look for the finished product in men. They want that tall, handsome, rich, all those physically fit men, and those are the ones we usually call what's the name, like all those like the perfect men women always want, right? And when you end up having that perfect man, this is what every woman wants. So when you end up having to fight with a lot of women for your man, because that's exactly what you went for. That is exactly what you want. You want that, perfectly finished product. So yeah, so babe, the very first question somebody asked was because of the previous video we did, we had touched about my acne, right? Okay. And so the woman was like that we didn't really treat that particular aspect when I asked you that question, like, what was it about me? What was it about me that made you look past my acne and just saw me for me and not just, what you could see on the outside? Because back in the day, I was messed up with acne. And, right. What was it?
Yeah. So, it's very simple. For me, it was all about, really, I would say that I knew that at some point I would actually, because I had been praying for a wife for a few years. I wouldn't say maybe 2 years or so. And when you deal a lot with different women, whether it's like I have sisters, I don't have a brother, and then I also have a lot of female friends. It just seems that women gravitate towards me because they have like I don't know what it is. I just have a lot of female friends, right, and they trust me. So I have very good relationships with women, and so I had basically resolved within myself that God would bring me and it would come together for me where I would know the person that my heart felt safe with. So there's something when a king is looking for a wife. There's a lot that can be going on, and sometimes you'll have women or people present themselves that look good on the outside, and basically all the things that seem to be right as far as them being a candidate for a wife, or but then does your heart feel safe? And so this is an element of discernment. You have to basically have an inner knower. You have to basically be led by God and you have to know in your heart that when you find that person with all the things that can seem on the outside that could probably, you know, like a lot of times we look for, you know, picture perfect relationships as far as from the outside, right? People look good. They're like a, you know, they're like a perfect couple, physically and all those things. But then you know, the question then becomes, did they check to see if their heart felt safe? And like I shared, a king when he's looking for his queen, he's going to basically rest that crown where he feels his heart is safe. And so that's really what happened with me. You know, and the thing is that, ironically, that should tell you how serious this is. You know, we were halfway across the world, so it wasn't like I didn't have people wanting to be, like I had a lot of people that wanted me to marry them. I had people asking me, because I had female friends, and it got to a point where I was telling her this because we were best friends. So I was saying that I had some friends, I don't know if you remember me telling you, that I don't know if you guys remember, people used to have home phones. So I had my house, I was an eligible bachelor, and I had a home phone and I had a cell phone. But I had friends and I would not give them my phone number, like my home phone, right? I didn't introduce them to family, so we were just friends. And they would say like, well, how come you don't bring me closer, or how come you don't? And that's because I knew that I didn't want any kind of a counterfeit. Well, entanglement or whatever you want to call it. But I was determined to make sure that I wasn't going to go with any counterfeit. I wanted to make sure that, and you know, I was in a place where no matter what, it would be obvious that this was the person for me. And to say how true that is, when we started being friends and we became best friends, I think you were the first person to tell me that, you know, you have feelings and you love. Yeah, she was the first person to say that I love you. And that wasn't because I didn't feel the same thing, but I was wanting to make sure. I didn't want to be the one to. It wasn't that I wasn't chasing her or I didn't know at the time, but the way I set it up and what I said, what my heart and my prayer was with God was that it would be very, very obvious, meaning that I didn't want to interfere with that, because there's decisions that you make in life that can make or break your whole destiny. And being connected to the right person, that's one of the decisions that you don't play around with. Marrying, that's one of either the best decisions you can make in life or one of the worst decisions you can make in life, which is marrying the wrong person, connecting with the wrong person, because life is full of golden connections. And so what ends up happening is that if you miss, like, you can miss your destiny by actually you know, connecting with the wrong person. And so, like, for example, I truly believe that with her, she would have been great. She had a lot, and she'll share more in the story about how there are a lot of things that I saw in her even before, like what people are seeing now. God showed me years ago. But the thing is that you know, sometimes you're connected with people to fulfill a purpose.
Right.
And so it's deeper than just.
So you connect with people that are gonna deter you from that purpose.
Exactly. So, you know, people, like I always tell her from day one, you know, like I said, we were best friends, so I used to advise her, and I would say to her, look, be careful, because people come into your life and they're coming with four purposes or four reasons. They're either going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide you. It's one of those four. So it's everyone that comes into your life, you have to start to qualify people and categorize them and check them and know, because this is where you know, life can not only go by quickly, but life is you know, all of us have a destiny and a purpose. And so, you know, you have to look past just the light things, because look, like I said, I have a lot of female friends, very successful, pretty, and we would talk about different things. We would talk about, you know, guys that they were going on dates with. I have friends that are also successful. And, you know, not everyone has the same mentality of being a king, wanting to rest the crown, right? Sometimes they you know, they may not be looking for a wife, right? They may just be looking to, you know, have fun or whatever it is. And so a woman has to be discerning, but also the man has to be discerning. And ultimately, for me, to answer the question, is I really had to basically, you know, be led by God. And in that situation, I knew that in the interaction that we had as best friends, that I knew that she was the one. Before she even, I mean, I knew it because I felt my heart felt at peace, even though she was halfway across the world. I could have married anyone here. I could have married and date so many different people, but I flew across the world to propose to her, because that was where my heart felt safe, and that's where I knew that I could rest my crown.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I hope that answered the long-winded, but yeah.
Right. And and then the next question is, how did I deal with relationship being single with acne? Actually, guys, I would say I actually started really being so aware of my acne after I came to the US, because even though I had like the most terrible acne in Nigeria, like, I don't know what it is, but people didn't make me feel like otherwise, or people didn't really kind of make me feel like I had a bad skin, right? So even when I was single, guys, like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I could use my leg. If you tell me to go to Aso Rock, I would go, because I had that boldness in me. I had that confidence. I would say that was, all about, it was the confidence. There was just this confidence about me that I didn't see myself, like, I didn't see acne as a barrier, or I didn't see acne as a problem. Like, I look at the mirror, I see the acne, but I just knew that the person inside is such a nice and sweet, and I just saw myself from, I didn't judge myself based off of what I saw, with my skin, because I knew myself from the inside. So I would really say it's all about knowing you, for you, and not just what you see on the mirror, because looks can change. You might have 2 eyes today, and then tomorrow you might have 1 eye. You might have 1 leg today and 2 legs today, and then tomorrow you will have 1 leg. So all those things are just like the physical look. That is why it's always good to invest in yourself, your spirit, your soul, because this body right here, something might change tomorrow, but if you find that peace and you find yourself inside of yourself. I don't know how to explain it, but that is basically, how to answer this question. So, like, when I was single, I really didn't see anything kind of, I really didn't see kind of a problem with my skin. Like, I knew I had acne, I knew I had that problem, but it didn't really deprive me from nothing. I could, like, there was, and the funny thing is, even when I was single, I had a lot of men, you know?
Her situation's a mess, because, so I would go, we visit, right? We'll be, and then we had a driver. So we'll have a driver every time. We have a car and a driver. So, like, so let's say we'll be in Lagos, right? And we're going somewhere, it's like a cake store or something like that. So I'm in the back, and everywhere we go, she would get out to do things, and I'm not living there, so like, I'm not.
Yeah.
So when we get out the car, like, she'll get out the car, and then she'll say, okay, wait here, let me go into the store and do it.
Right.
The minute she gets out the car, cars are driving by, they're like, they're
Nigerian guys are a mess.
And then I would be seeing her through the rear view, and then it's like, and she's of course this sexy slim thing. So I'm like, yeah, but you know what it is when I look back at it, I mean, again, the thing is that truthfully, to be honest with you, like you said that it wasn't until you came here, but really, to be honest, it wasn't until she went online.
On YouTube,
so
yes.
That's the thing.
That's
it was
true.
really online, because when she came, my mom and the family, like, nobody is really thinking about that, because we knew everyone, especially like my mom, my sisters, they knew who she was before. And so, we've never been the type to judge people. And like I said, I mean, with her, it was just it's like a click, So especially with my mom, she knew she was her daughter before she even came. But to be honest with you, it wasn't until YouTube. And what happens is, like, when you, and that's what I had to tell her, right? And it's because, as a man, and as a man, you have one journey. As a woman, you have one journey. And what I'm sharing, what I'm talking about is, there's a journey to learning how to love yourself, right? And that you can say that you can do certain things. A lot of people are trying to develop self-love, right? And so, but there's emptiness, right? Because it's like they're doing things, they're buying things to basically make themselves sure of themselves and feel good. And I think I mentioned this in the last video, I'm not sure, but I feel like a man, you know, you hit a certain age and then you start to learn yourself. Me personally, my personal belief is that a man that's younger than 30, he doesn't really know himself.
Oh wow!
Now that's just my personal opinion, and this is from my experience, from what I've gone through. But what I will say is that you have to basically, through prayer and God's help, get to a point where you learn to love yourself. Because you can't even love God if you don't really, you can't even love God properly or learn to love someone else if you don't really love yourself. And of course, you're never going to have it all together, but at least you want, when you have the right person that comes into your life, they're going to take you over the top, right? They're going to help you. So when she came online, she had a confidence, but then of course when you're coming online in YouTube, they'll break down that confidence. If you don't have a conviction and you don't have a strong support, if you're a strong person, because remember, you're putting yourself out there and you're going to be vulnerable, and so you have to take what comes with it. You're putting yourself out to the world, and you're exposing flaws, you're exposing strengths, you're putting value out, but at the same time you got to take what flack comes with it. You're going to have haters, you're going to have people that don't like you, you're going to have a community that likes you for no reason. So in her case, she had a level of confidence just because of, not because of like she got it from her dad, because like we both said, we've never had father figures. We've only had, like for me, my mom was my dad and my mom and my father and my mother figure. So, but you know, with her, I came in to help shore her up, right? But she had a swag, I would say. It's more like a swag. She's a people person. Everybody likes her, and she's just a free-hearted, warm-spirited. She doesn't have any malice. She really just loves people and takes them for who they are. So she had that bubbliness about her, and so when she would move, people respected her. She was cool with everybody. A lot of dudes, you know, a lot of guys. She had a lot of guy friends, and then some female friends. They all liked her because she's not a respecter person. She just deals with people as they are. She doesn't, you know, put one up, put the other one down, or try to make. She makes everyone feel like equal, and not only that, important. She makes everyone feel important. So when you carry yourself that way, that comes with favor. And you know, she had a lot of favor, and she just didn't have the need to look at acne or look down. But when you go online, that's when those things start to happen.
And it's so, what you just said now really touched me, sweetie, because I feel like that's also the same thing I experienced like with myself as a social media, you know, influencer. There's just like, you know, I always thank God for you guys, because I have this very, I don't know how to explain it, like my community, you know, there's just something about my community, there's just something about you guys that I love. And it's so funny because sometimes when I reply to your comments, I call you by your name, because I'm such a person that I take notice of people, you know, a lot. So it's like I'm blessed with such a beautiful community. I can't even explain it. There's some pages or some channels or some like brands, influential brands that you go to, you'd be like, whoa, but why is all these things happening? But you know, I'm so thankful for you guys, because it's like I opened myself up like right from time. If I'm gonna tell you how it is, like if it's black, I will tell you it's black. If it's white, I will tell you it's white. That's why when I came into YouTube, you know, of course, normally people would want to switch up their accents, you know, try to sound American and all those things. And for me, like, it's not in my character. Like, that's one thing about me. My mom also, she will tell you, one problem she has is she don't know how to pretend, and that's the same thing with me. I don't know how to pretend, you know. I will just show you myself. It's either you like it or you don't like it, which is fine. Of course, like he said, not everybody is going to like you. Some people are going to like you, some people are going to hate you. So I just wanted to take a moment and appreciate you guys, people who has been, you know, rocking with me, standing with me, and just, you guys just accepted me for who I am. Like, of course, I'm not like the biggest out there, I'm not like the best out there, but just the love and the support and the, You know, the connection I have with you guys is something I would cherish and cherish and cherish for the rest of my life. So I just want to take this moment and say thank you guys so much. Like, I'm saying this right from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. So guys, the next one says how you came together knowing that you were both raised without fathers, and how you broke or are breaking that cycle for your children.
Yeah, so I mean, again, you know, I think that a really good foundation is friendship when you're dealing with, when you have two separate lives that are coming together and you're starting a journey together, right? You've been living a certain way, you've had an experience. I didn't know her when she was growing up to know that she didn't have the father in her life, and then that element affects men and women differently, you know. So it's like now, like you know, my twins. I'm very hands-on. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really I don't know how to describe it, but
you're a dad, but you're a friend too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So
how to
I have
explain.
a very close relationship with my girls.
They're actually closer to him than you guys. Always watch us and you say, "Oh my gosh, like you like my relationship with the girls," but they are actually like closer to their dad than they are to me. Honestly.
So you know, it's like and the thing is, again, how that developed. All I can tell you is that, you know, again, this is just, you know, I would say probably God like leading us. Because the thing is that no one taught me how to be a dad to my children, right? So, you know, and then being a dad to girls is I don't want to say it's different than being a dad to boys, but there's a difference.
There is.
A different relationship. And I have a very, very strong closeness with Ace as well.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is that the friendship was really the foundation because when you're joining, it's kind of like you're putting two superpowers together, or you're joining companies. You know, you're merging. You're doing an IPO merger, and there are a lot of things that have to be situated before. You know, I used to work on Wall Street, so we had mergers and acquisitions, and when those things happened, there was a lot of pre-talk, or I guess pre-arranged synergies that had to happen in order for those companies to merge. And I think a friendship does that when you're dealing with a personal relationship, where you start to basically just you can let the veil down and be free and get a chance to see each other raw for who you are. And then, so, you know, we talked about things where we were able to share about, you know, experiences, and she was able to find out that, you know, I didn't have a father, and, you know, and all those things, and I was able to find out her story, her journey. And so, you know, I would say that that was really the foundation of how we were able to navigate, come together, knowing that we didn't have that, because and thankfully for her, like I said, you know what, you know, I always say this, you know, sometimes you hear things in life where people go through some things and it affects them differently. So you may have like, for example, I went through a situation where my parents divorced, and that would happen around 11, and I think that I probably didn't get over that. It affected me until I was 30. And so the thing is that, but I didn't realize it. There were subconscious things that were going on, and I didn't realize that had an effect on me. And so some people, their parents can divorce and it don't bother them. They'll move on. It's not an issue. And it could be in the same house. You can have, let's say you have siblings, and it may not affect you, but it can destroy your siblings. So you see, like, basically, things affect people differently. So I always say to her, and I tell her this, it's all about God's grace, right? Because normally, we're not supposed to be where we are as far as, you know, as strong as we are, because, you know, we're supposed to be more broken and shattered because we didn't have the guidance. You know, especially as a man, you have to make certain decisions, key decisions, and navigate your family. How do you move forward? How do you build a financial empire, or how do you aspire to build businesses that you can pass on to your children? How do you make certain decisions that would help navigate your family? Whether it's like even simple things like setting up trusts, things that you put in place for your family. You have to make certain decisions, and without a father figure, it's hard to get that guidance.
You didn't get that.
You don't get that, so you have to go and search for it on your own. You have to search for it on your own. It takes only God's grace, because there are some people who, you know, really have not been able to find themselves, because especially like, and again, like I said, it affects men differently than women.
Right.
A woman will look for a certain comfort because she didn't have her father, and it can affect her life differently where she deals with the wrong men, right?
Yes.
A man can actually, without his father, he can be lost. He can never, maybe in some cases, they never find themselves. They never find their journey,
right,
because they just are lost. They don't have a path. They don't have that guidance.
wow.
So it's a delicate thing. And that's one of the reasons why I can't say that, you know, I'm trying to do. I can't say that I'm trying to on purpose do what I didn't have. That we're just living, and it's happening. That's what I'll say.
And it's only by the
grace of God, because like, you know, that things turn out the way they are, because with the girls and then also with Ace, and we're a very tight knit, close family, and then they, you know, they know a lot. They have certain things that have been put in place for them, you know, and it's happening. It's playing itself out. It's unfolding.
Right. Like you said, you know, it's all by the grace of God, because, you know, I didn't have a dad, I didn't have that direction. But one thing I would say is that my mom tried as much as possible to play those two roles. You know, she was my dad, she was my mom, and that made me, because normally they would always say that daughters are more closer to their dad than, you know, their moms. So since I didn't really, it's not like my dad wasn't there, he was there. But, you know, there was no relationship whatsoever. And even the memories I had was just messed up memories. Always fighting, always quarreling, you know. That was just the memory I had with my parents. So, you know, after they got a divorce, it was just us and my mom. And she tried as much as possible to fill in that gap, you know, as a mom and also as a dad. So I would say I didn't really feel that much of, like, I saw my mom as everything, you know. She was my mom, she's my mom, she's my dad, you know, everything, until my stepdad, you know, came in, and, you know, he was able to fill in that space, you know, to a certain point with me, because it's not easy, honestly, especially if it happens when you're already like aware of things. If you were maybe a baby, you'll be like, okay, you know, you didn't know. But I was already, I think my year 1 in the university, or probably, I was in my last phase of high school, or probably in year 1 when it happened. And you know, that's basically, it's all by the grace of God.
Yeah, and she has a very strong mom, and you know, like me, so our moms kind of helped to really be, in my case, my mom's my best friend and partner. So that did help in navigating things through, even though, you know, in some cases, like along the time, you know, as you're growing, as you're a teenager and a young guy, there's things where sometimes, you know, you're gonna rebel or whatever. I went through a little phase like that, even though not for long, but she was basically, you know, everything. And it's a great thing, because sometimes, you know, moms do it even in spite of all the things that they're going through, right? They're going through a lot of situations. They're trying to figure things out. They're trying to, I remember my mom used to basically help us to pay rent. She would, back then they used to have these you used to sell dictionaries. So she would take a cart and she would sell the dictionaries. She goes to the airport, to the kiosk, and sell kiosk to kiosk and door to door, and it's commission based too. And she did what she had to do. So the thing is that you know what, like I said, you know, these are the things in life where we have to point to God's grace, because you know, and then some people didn't even have their mom. You know what I mean?
For real.
And so, but then they still are strong. They're able to inspire other people. Then others who've had their parents, they're broken.
True.
You know, so the thing is that
it's very true too.
So that's the thing.
It's true.
All of it is just God's grace.
It's God's grace, honestly. Wow. And then the next person said, red flags women should look out for. What goes on in a man's mind when he's hunting for his queen, and how to be a man?
So you want me to give you secrets? I don't know if whoever the guys watching this is gonna. But I think, I mean, to answer that question is a very, very good question. I think that it really starts with the person himself, because like this, right? If the person, number one, the person has to. It starts with the man. If the man is serious and he really wants to be, like, have a wife or be married, at least be settled. Let me use the word settled. If the guy's looking to get settled, you know, there are other things that come into play. Does he know himself? Does he love himself? Is he in a place where he can provide, right? Does he have a mentality of what a relationship really is all about and can be and successful? Does he want a family? So there are a lot of things that go into it. It starts with him, and to be honest with you, it's very important that you take your time when you're approached to really ask questions and know, because what happens is that, and you have to pray about it. You have to discern, because sometimes people can come in and put on a facade and everything looks good. Like I've had, from my sisters to female friends, the guy comes in flossing, nice car, everything, but then beat you to a pulp, or have a secret life, just different things. So it's you have to really be prayerful and really have discernment. But what I will say is that the red flags to me in relationships, and she knows this, and that is, I feel like for a relationship to be successful, a man in the beginning, especially from the time that you guys first meet, a man has to love a woman a little bit more than what the woman loves the man.
Yes.
And this is something this is a personal belief that I have, that I've seen. Again, I have a lot of experience dealing with women. And so I think that if a relationship is where the woman is pursuing or loves the man a little bit more, it's not going to last. It's going to be an issue. That's a big red flag. So, and what I'm saying is that at the same time, it's got to be balanced, right? You don't want to take the person for granted, because that could be your king. That could be your destiny. So, for example, with her, even though she said, I love you first, my actions and the way I cared for her and the way I watched over her. I mean, we did homework together, right? You were in college.
I was in my final year in the
So
university.
this one here, so this one here would come back, right? And then she would have me do her homework. She had me do her homework.
Over the phone, no?
And she would fall asleep on the phone.
I'm telling you, oh my gosh, I will come back from school. There's this professor, you remember that professor, Joy AEC, Eunice. This woman gave me pepper.
She gave her a lot of
This woman gave me pepper, Joy AEC. Oh my gosh, like I will come back. Because even then, we were, of course, even up till now, it's so messed up in Nigeria, because people work with beats, with their, like, you can't just go online. You see how we have unlimited Wi-Fi here. So I will be saving my little whatever card I have on my phone, and then he will call. When he calls, we'll now go to Google. I will now give him all the assignment, and then he will do it and then send it to me through email. Oh my gosh.
Basically I had back then, it's like you have to get these the Boss Revolution.
Yes, the Boss
calling cards.
The calling
cards.
So
no lie, right? I had stacks of Boss Revolution.
When I came, cards. I was like, oh my gosh.
Right? Because I would have to buy these, have like stacks of them to call. So because I had to spend so much time doing her homework. So, like when it comes to doing things like that, I remember when she went for her youth service before we were engaged, married, sending her money, making sure that she was taken care of all along the way. And I guess what I'm trying to say simply is saying that is, it's important to have that, to where, I mean, look, ultimately it's a two-way street. You have to receive love, and you have to reciprocate love. So I'm not saying that you should sit back and then just wait for the guy to do all the loving.
No.
But what I am saying is that there's a gauge where, you want the man to not only pursue, but I feel like he has to love the woman a little bit more in the beginning. And then what happens in the relationship is that once the woman, because women need security, that that like they really, peace is very, very important, right? Because you can have a big house, if there's no peace in the house can't be a home, right? So it's like you can have a mansion, but that house is not a home. There's a difference between a house and a home. And so with a woman, she needs that security, and when she feels a good place, just like a man is looking for a place for his heart to rest at peace, she needs basically to be enveloped and feel secure.
That's true. It's like a man becomes your umbrella, like
he like embrace you and shields you all around. And so what happens basically is that with red flags, I would say that there are a number of things. We can be here all day going over red flags, but I think that the number one thing is that the man should love the woman a little bit more. The other thing is that I don't believe in relationships that are formed or going into relationships based on feeling sorry for the other person. So there's people who have these sympathy relationships where they'll go and marry somebody or fall in love with someone because they felt sorry for them. So on the man's side, it could be the woman is in, let's just say she's in a lot of, she needs help financially, whatever, and then they get into a relationship and he's taking care of her, right? And then they fall into this relationship. On the other hand, the woman could be feeling sorry for the guy. Maybe she's taking care of things financially. She feels sorry for him. I don't believe in relationships like that. I don't think that's a good foundation for you to get into a relationship based on feeling sorry for someone or empathy. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a heart and be, like I said, I took care of her. When things happen with her or whatever, you care, you're there, you're the backbone, you're going to be there. But there's a difference between being there and then feeling sorry to where the person is, the relationship is based on feeling sorry if you should definitely have empathy and feel their heart because God put you there to basically share not only emotionally, but you should have a pulse on what's going on with them, right? So, but the thing is that there's a difference between that and then feeling sorry for someone where you fall into a full-blown relationship into marriage because you feel sorry. That's a huge red flag for me. The other thing is you have to basically really have a good understanding on emotions and realize that relationships are not based on love. Ultimately, true big like the best marriages and ultimately the longest term are going to be based on commitment. And we were laughing about this the other day because I think we were talking about we were talking about real estate. Because we have a couple of things that we're doing with real estate, and so I was explaining to her the analogy because when we were when we were getting married, we had a situation during the engagement time leading up to the traditional marriage, and so people put so much, especially in Nigeria, well, everywhere, but especially Nigeria, they put a heavy emphasis on the wedding, right?
Yes.
So there's a lot of pressure. If you ever gone through that, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of, you have to get Ashe B's, and you have to get the venue, everything, all the stuff.
Meanwhile, here in America, it's like just walk down there and just get married, and that's
they put, they'll do, it's the same kind of pressure, but for us, our experience was, we got married overseas. We had 2 weddings back to back. And so it was a lot. And what I'm saying is that what we experienced, we had talked about this was, you can be in love and be getting ready to get married.
Right.
And then the marriage plans itself
will destroy
it. It can break you. True. Because the pressure of it can destroy can mess up the relationship because you're putting so much emphasis on the date, the ceremony.
Right.
And there are things that are just, that the pressure from other people, family and all this stuff. So I guess what I'm saying in essence is that commitment is very important because, commitment will take you through so much. You don't know when you form this journey to move forward with someone, you don't know what tomorrow holds. And like myself, it's possible to have everything and then lose everything. Right. And that's what I've gone through. True. Where I may have everything, but I've also lost everything. And I can't imagine what it would be like if I didn't marry her to have been existing on a day-to-day basis without that. So you need the right person because you don't know what the future holds. And only God knows. And then what will happen is that with the right person that with that commitment, they'll be there for you when you can't carry yourself, when you can't do it, when you've lost everything.
And we're not talking about financially.
Yeah, we're not talking about finances. There's things that are deeper than money and cars and all these other things. We're not talking about that. Yeah. We're talking about having loss that's not quantifiable. You can't replace. It's irreplaceable. Yeah. So.
Always here, babe.
No problem.
How it impacts boys not having their fathers. I guess that's with the same question of how you came together, knowing that you were both raised without fathers. I guess that's like the same. How it impacts boys.
Did you got a few questions on that?
Yeah, this one right here. How not having a father impacts specifically boys. Yeah, okay, let's.
So I actually think that
because you know what, boys would actually end up being fathers too and being men too. So like I'm sure it would affect boys more than probably affected girls or something.
No, it's actually, I think that, like I said earlier, it affects them differently. It's a negative effect because no matter, again, we talked about our moms and how strong, and the fact that our moms really were our dads and our moms, and the impact and the how would I say, the undeniable, overwhelming presence that they have even till this moment in our life. But the thing is that a mom will never be a dad.
Yeah, true.
So it's like,
Very
and the thing
true.
is that as strong as my mother-in-law is, and as big of a foundation she was to her, when she came and we started living together, I had to be a father in a way.
True. Very, very
And
true.
the person you see today, I helped to shape her.
Right.
So the thing is that you need, you know, it's something that again, only God's grace can take you through, because in life, you know, the journey is you know, you don't know how it's going to turn out. You may have your dad, and you may have, and that's why I for us, we can't relate to people who have good fathers and fathers. We don't know what it's like.
We don't know.
So we're just moving day to day, and again, that's what we're sharing with our children. But to answer the question, it affects them negatively, and it affects
And I
them.
feel like that's why some of them also end up repeating the same cycle with their children. You know, they repeat the same, like, you don't have a father, and then that's why some of them, they go out, like, they have kids, you know, and then they don't take care of the kids and all those things. So you find out that it's just a circle that keeps repeating.
Yeah, it
itself,
could be.
just going round and
It
round.
could be, but then the thing is, like, I mean, look at myself. I didn't do that, right? So I didn't have a father figure in my life, but I didn't end up having, you know, I didn't do that. So again, what I'm gonna say is about God's grace, because it's just like living in a certain area. You live in a bad area. Does everybody in a bad area end up in drugs or in jail?
True.
That's not true. You know, there are people. I used to live in a very, very bad area when I was growing up, and I was an entrepreneur. Right, I started my first business when I was 17, and so my first company when I was 17. So the thing is that the like the negative effect of not having your dad, if you're graced and you're fortunate enough to have a good mom, then what happens is that the next thing that happens is the influence, who the child is around, because that then really shapes how things are going to shake out. If they have the wrong friends or they're around friends, then you got to basically see that's what's going to kind of play itself out. And that's one of the reasons why I would say that if a child, if the father is absent, then you have to really be watchful over the boy, of who he's around. And in some cases, you may need to kind of like, you may not understand it at the time, but you may not, you may need to shield him a little bit, where he can be around family, but and then friends, but you got to really, you can't. My advice would not be to, because from experience, there are some, when I was growing up, I had a few friends that were in the same situation as me, where they didn't have the father, they had their moms, they didn't have their dads, but what would happen was that my friends, you know, they would, after school, they would go hang out, so they would stay out till 12, 1 o'clock. We had school the next day, but they would stay out. They could go to New York, get on the train, go to New York. Wow. They could do places. They had a lot of freedom, or they had a lot of liberty to roam.
Because there was nobody
and so
there too.
The mom would let them do that. In my case, I was told that I couldn't do it, and at the time, again, I didn't fully understand it. But that was the main thing for me, I feel. So I can just speak from experience to say that if the father figure is not there, the next thing you got to look for is going to see what does the influence, because that influence, whoever those friends are, that's going to really set the course of what's going to happen. And I have friends who are in jail. I have people who are dead because of this very thing I just shared just now. So it's very important, the influence on the child, and that could be even who you have babysit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that can set them on a wrong course. You got to watch. You have to be watchful, and it's tough because as a mom, especially if you're a single mom, you're working, you have to take the child with a babysitter. You know, there's a lot of things. So again, it's only we have to just pray and ask for God's grace, because the thing is that, you know, things are not set in stone the way people, like, life doesn't shape out like that sometimes. You know, there are people there, like I said, there's moms who, they have to carry everything. You know, they're trying to figure out how they're gonna survive. They got this child. They have to have, hopefully get some help. And in some cases, they're battling with the dad who maybe not a deadbeat dad. So, and then in some cases, you know, you may have a strained relationship where the father wants to be there, but then, you know, there's bad blood between the two of you. and then you want to hold the baby back
Right.
or the child back because of the fact that you have animosity,
Right.
you have to kind of be prayerful and careful about that, because what happens is that you have to think in terms of the child's destiny. The child definitely needs the dad, and then in some cases, you know, the dad is not a good influence, so the mom doesn't want the child around the dad.
Right.
So the only thing I can tell you is that the effect of it is that if there's any way, if the dad is there and is around and there's a way for them to have the interaction, and let's just say the dad is very immature and there are qualities that are bad that you don't want the child to emulate. The only thing I will share with that is that if there's any way possible for you to still have them connect, but then maybe you can have a supervised visit or be around, or maybe after they come back from visiting, you can have them download everything so you can pull out what's bad,
what was bad and what is
reprogram them.
Wow.
That would be the only way, because the thing is that they need that outlet. You know what I'm saying? With the dad, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like with Ace, we can be, you know, they can be hanging out doing all the stuff, and if I come around, Ace can stay with me the whole day. You know, well, that's it.
Once he comes around, that's it. Like Ace don't even. Ace remembers me when he wants breast milk, and that's it.
That's not true.
That's true. That's it. But when he's not around, it's all about mommy, and but once he sees his dad, that is it. And then I'll turn around and say, I don't blame you. You look like him, so just follow him and be going. But yeah, guys, I believe this is all, you know, the questions. Of course, we're gonna be treating this, you know, once in a while. We just, you know, our August visitor will come around, and you know, we can treat matters of the heart, because at the end of the day, it's not just about just living for living's sake. You always have to live with purpose. And I just want to drop this, that no matter what it is you're going through, whether you have a dad, whether you have a mom, whatever it is you're going through, guys, always remember that prayers, like, there is nothing prayers cannot solve. Like, your knees always have to be, you know, directed to God in prayers, because that is basically it. And also the way what you said, you know, it's all about the grace of God. And always, like they said, the grass is not always greener on the other side. It's just that the other side waters their grass. That's why it looks green, and so you have to water yours. And
stay off of social media with your relationship.
Very true.
That's a big one. Stay off of social media with your relationship.
You guys, that's why you only see me and the children. You see your guy once in a while. That's just our own strategy.
The strongest relationships are the ones that are not on social media. Trust me.
Very, very important.
The strongest relationships are not on social media.
Honestly.
You don't have to tell people that you're going to dinner every time. You don't have to, and that's why, you know, you'll have people that are always in front of the camera trying to convince someone else that their relationship is perfect.
Oh, no.
And you have people who you don't see their relationship, and they'll be married for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
For real.
So,
for real. Yeah, guys, we believe that is all there is we have for today's video. Definitely, you know, drop your comments in the comment section. Let us know if you have any questions. You know, we're going to once in a while revisit this. Like I said, he's my August visitor, or he's our August visitor, so we can always do this once in a while. And of course, please guys, don't forget to hit that like button below, of course, because at least we had our August visitor here today. And also don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And till my next video, I will see you all very, very soon. Bye. Going to bed early.
Yeah, I have things to do. What do you want? Whatever, man. Look, go and bring Ace. Let me spark it over here. Go and bring my twin. Let me spark it over here. I have 3 of them. Look at me.
I did.
Nothing.
You look good.
No, I don't.
Sit down.
Listen.
That's it.
They have to give me a payment for that.
Oh my gosh.